Hi, I'm Jim Covington. Today is June 21st, 2012. I'd like to welcome you to this week's issue of ISBA Statehouse Review. Would like to talk to you about 7 bills that have been sent to the governor, or to be more accurately, have been passed by both chambers. The Constitution requires that after 30 days of passage, then the General Assembly administratively transmit it to the governor. Then he's got 60 days to sign, veto, or mandatorily veto those bills. So a lot of laws will be signed into law in July and August, and some in September. But I'd like to talk to you about 7 today. The first one is House Bill 5922, introduced by Representative Bill Cunningham of Chicago and Senator Dan Katowski of Park Ridge. It amends a number of the domestic violence statutes to allow a short form, and it's put in the statute exactly what the form will say, to notify respondents what has happened and the order that's been entered against them. And it will be used in any one of those, like the Civil Non-Contact Order, the Stalking Act, and the Illinois Domestic Violence Act. And that's been passed by both chambers. There's 3 bills that I want to talk to you about that affect cell phones and driving. I bring these up to you because lawyers, like everybody else, regard time as the car now as an extension of their office. But I think there's a consensus among some members of the General Assembly that it's become a danger, and so they're starting to pass legislation to trim that back. And there's 3 bills. The first is Senate Bill 2488, introduced by Senator Susan Garrett from Lake Forest and Representative Karen May from Highland Park, that prevents the use of a cell phone in a construction or school zone unless it's one of those voice operated things where you can just sort of tell it to dial or to pick up a incoming call that way, but they want both hands on the wheel. And it also includes using a headset. You're allowed to do that, and that has been sent to the governor. House Bill 5099 is introduced by Representative Jerry Costello of Sparta and Senator Bill Hayne from Alton, and it prohibits a driver from using a cell phone to for audio or to video within 500 feet of emergency scene where there's some kind of accident or something. It again makes the exception for voice operated cell phones. The third bill of the cell phone trilogy is House Bill 5101. It's introduced by Representative John D'Amico of Chicago and Senator Martin Sandoval from Cicero, and it prevents drivers in commercial vehicles with a CDL license from texting or using a phone without if you have to use a hand to hold it, you can't do it. So this obviously makes some exceptions, but they want commercial drivers to have both hands on the wheel. The 5th bill I'd like to talk to you about is Senate Bill 3552, introduced by Ron Sandak from Lombard and Representative Sid Mathias from Buffalo Grove, and it amends the personal property exemption statute in the Code of Civil Procedure to make judgment proof a trust, either irrevocable or revocable, in which the wife or husband of the insured or the child, parent, or other person dependent on the insured is named as the primary beneficiary of the trust. The 6th bill I'd like to talk to you about amends the Open Meetings Act, and that's House Bill 4687, introduced by Representative Sandra Pihos from Glen Ellen and Senator Kirk Dillard from Westmont. It makes 2 changes to the Open Meetings Act. The first is that an agenda must set forth the general subject matter of any resolution or ordinance that will be the subject of final action at a meeting, and then it requires that the public body ensure that at least one copy of any notice and agenda for the meeting is continuously up on its website or continually public in some manner, posting or whatnot, 48 hours before the meeting, and it does create a safety valve if something happens beyond the control of the public body, an electrical storm or whatnot that shuts down their website, and posting it on its website would comply with this, but they get a safety valve that it still doesn't invalidate any action they take if it's some sort of act of God or intervening event that they cannot control, the city cannot control. The 7th and final bill I'd like to talk to you about is Senate Bill 2888, introduced by Senator Maggie Crotty from Oak Forest and Representative Sid Mathias from Buffalo Grove. It prohibits a court from allowing supervision if a defendant was speeding 31 miles more per hour instead of the current law of 40 miles per hour on a highway, or 25 miles higher than the speed limit in an urban district. And that has been sent to the governor as well, and we will see you next week. Thank you.